Hello, welcome to Footy Corner TV. This is with the North Bank podcast. I let my tab go and make some noise again, so apologies for that, for being a little bit distracted. But there we go. Dom, welcome into that. How are we?
Very good, mate. Very good. Sorry, I was a little bit late getting back because I had my daughter's football awards this evening, which was very nice. But happy to be here and lovely to see you again. And we've got some Arsenal bits to talk about tonight, which was looking a little bit like we might
A little
not
bit
earn
ropey,
today,
wasn't
but
it? It was
yeah.
looking a bit vague.
And
But,
David Ornstein came to our rescue.
Yes, he has done a couple of things. We can kind of go over that. But I just wanted to talk about England first, and then kind of the World Cup in general, and then we'll swing back to the transfer window and all the other kind of rigmarole nonsense that's going on. So yeah, a bit of a while ago now, the Panama game on Saturday. Was Saturday, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, another not overly convincing performance. Not overly convinced with the lineups either. What were your kind of takeaways from the whole thing?
Well, my takeaways were that the few beers that I had were very, very nice and kept me entertained more than the football in the first half in particular. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it wasn't a particularly pretty or exciting game, was it? I mean, let's be honest. And I think really the big area that we have to look at for this game. Let's start with the positives, shall we? From the lineup, Marcus Rashford coming in for Anthony Gordon, I think was a sensible shout. I thought Gordon was ineffectual in the first game and the second game. Thought he deserved to keep his place in the second game because we attacked mostly down the right, Noni Madueke being very, very bright there. Good to see Saka sort of get a start. Obviously, from an Arsenal point of view, probably want him wrapped in cotton wool, but you know,
I want all players sat at home.
yeah, yes, me too. But you know, from an England perspective, if England are to go far in this World Cup, Bukayo Saka is potentially going to be key to that. So I think him being able to start in this game was really, really important from that perspective. But I think Declan Rice being rested, sensible given the injury he's carrying, because if you can't beat Panama without Declan Rice, there's a problem. But the real damning indictment for me was the fact that Gerald Konsa had to play at right back. Now, that's not a slight on Gerald Konsa at all.
It should be.
No, I mean, it's not his fault he's playing there. What I mean is that you've taken an injury-prone right back in Reece James, you've taken an injury-prone right back in Livramento, you've then replaced an injured Livramento before the tournament starts with another centre-back rather than a right back. I'm sorry, we shouldn't. If during the tournament you've got players that got injured because of, you know, bad luck or bad tackles or whatever, then fine. You know, particularly if they're not injury prone players, but you've taken two injury prone players and chosen to not upgrade a right back. Gerald Konsa should not be playing right back for England. He just shouldn't. And you say, no, I'm not having a go at him. But Thomas Tuchel has to look at that and say, how am I in this situation? Particularly given, and I'm sure it's personality related. You could argue it's tactically related, but it doesn't need a major tweak to get Trent Alexander in it. But he could have called up Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's not injured. I know people saying call up Lewis Hall because you can move Jed Spence across. He's another one that shouldn't be there for me, but that's another story. But Lewis Hall is injured, so get why you didn't take him. But Trent Alexander-Arnold is not injured. You've got a very good right back there. I know he's more of a wing back than a right back. You've got to take him because Rice and Elliot Anderson are good enough to go and fill in when Trent goes forward, like Gravenberch did for him in his last season at Liverpool. I think it's Gravenberch that was the man. I'm pretty sure it was that moved across.
Yeah, it was.
But anyway, a Liverpool player moved across. They're good enough to go and fill in there.
Konsa was doing that anyway.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, exactly.
Konsa was doing that exactly the same thing. So it was like, well, I don't understand why you don't take Trent because he was literally doing the same thing as Konsa do. Now, granted, in the bigger games, you know, you kind of need a bit more cover there. But you know, when you have got the likes of Rice and whatever, he will come in and cover you.
Yeah, exactly.
it's fine, and he can literally just go in between the two centre backs, and he can play it wider. It's really not that hard.
No, exactly.
He does it week in, week out, and yeah, I don't think Kwanzaa should be there at all. Certainly not that far into the squad. He should be much further down the squad if he is there.
If he was going as a fourth choice centre back,
yeah,
I can live with it. But I don't even mind him starting against Panama if he's a centre back. If you're going to rest one of them, then no problem. Because again, you should be able to win it. But yeah, just for me, it's just this defence simply isn't good enough to win the World Cup for me. It was always what I said beforehand. And look, Gareth Southgate took a lot of criticisms when he was England manager. I felt over the top criticism, but the one thing he did was realise his defence was still his biggest area of weakness in the squad, so he protected it in the way he played, which is why it was a little bit more dour. But we're not protecting our defence, and we're not looking brilliant going forward either. I do think we will probably look more exciting going forward against teams that open up a little bit more. Croatia, for instance, we looked particularly second half much better because there was more space, and when you've got players like Bellingham and Kane, it does look better rather than the low block. Which I do find interesting that England fans were moaning and saying how ridiculous it was that teams played the low block, meaning that the game was boring, and then criticise Arsenal, who have played a low block all season, for being boring in attack. Which is it, guys? But and
then flip the script in the PSG game, and then both circumstances are wrong. So you can't have it, like you say, you can't have it both ways. You've literally got to say, well, it's the defending team that's at fault, or it's the attacking team that's at fault.
Yeah,
it's one or the other. You can't have it both ways.
And by the way, I can't criticise lesser teams like Panama for sitting in and making life hard. Why should they come out and play open, expansive football?
Yeah, well, FIFA have done this, haven't they? FIFA have done it by putting lesser teams in there that have got to find a way.
Yeah. I've no criticism from Panama for doing it, or any of the sides for seeing. I don't have criticism for teams doing it.
Nothing to do with the teams at all. They're just doing what they're equipped to do, and it's down to the opponent to
find a way.
But I mean, the Japan game I thought was a bit weird because they literally they were playing quite expansive, and I don't know if they just tired themselves out. But the whole second half, they literally just camped in their own half. And it didn't really work for them, did it, to be fair? So
no, they seem to run out of steam. I mean, I didn't see the first half. My son told me that they played really well, Japan, in the first half because I was playing football.
Yeah, they did. It's quite expansive.
Yeah, I did see nearly all of the second half. I was half getting ready to change kits to play again. So I wasn't paying full attention. But, Japan looked tired. I know they hit a couple of times on the breaks, but even then they looked a bit tired doing it. But and it's a shame they couldn't have played that pressing game they apparently played in the first half for another 15-20 minutes, because then they might have had they might have been able to withstand a barrage for 20-25 minutes as opposed to 45 minutes. But they gave it a good go against Brazil. But where do you stand on England's sort of balance at this tournament?
He hasn't got any.
Yeah. There's not at all.
I don't think it has any. For me, if you're going kind of deeper into the squad, I think you need to have a bit more expansiveness in the play. I do think that one of Palmer and Foden should be there.
Yes, I think so.
I just think that it needs that little bit of depth, and I thought Rogers did okay.
A little bit of a different profile in that position as well, right?
Yeah, well, exactly. It's like somebody a bit more tricky, a bit more flicky, but just a bit more adaptability, I guess. I thought Bellingham had a better game, and I think that the first two games, well, 1.5, I guess, Bellingham wasn't really in the game. The first half of the first game, he was nowhere to be seen. the second half he had a decent game. I thought the whole of the second game, the Ghana game, I thought it was non-existent really.
Yeah, he himself said that he shouldn't have got man of the match, didn't he?
I don't know what they're doing with man of the match awards. I don't get it. Casemiro got man of the match for Brazil, and I don't think he was man of the match either. There were a couple of players that were better than him. He was flagging up on 45 minutes, and even Man United fans. I was watching a watch along, and Lou's a Man United fan, and she was saying that he was flagging. He should be coming off. So I don't know how he stays to get a man of the match by that point. And I'm not saying that Martinelli should have got it either, by the way, but just for scoring that winning goal. But
yeah, I'm not a fan of man of the match awards just because you've had the winning goal. I
just don't understand why they give it to Casemiro.
No,
I mean the first half really it was difficult to pick a man of the match anyway, but I'd have probably given it to one of the centre backs, to be honest with you, either Gabriel or Marquinhos the first half.
Yeah, I mean I can't comment too much on the first half because I didn't see it, but there have been some for the games I have seen this tournament. I've kind of looked at the man of the match award and thought, really.
Yeah,
he's not got them all wrong, but there's been a number where you're just looking and going, I don't understand how that is a decision you made.
Yes, I don't get it. I also thought I don't know if you have any opinion on our centre back pairing, but I thought Gahey and Konza, although it was slightly better, I still think it wasn't decisive enough. Quite lethargic on the ball, and just too many touches. Really, it's just
it doesn't work.
No, I don't think it does either.
They're too similar as players. Neither of them are aggressive. Neither of them are natural sweepers. And if you look at the great defenders,
they both play the same side as well, don't they?
Yeah, they do. I mean, in fairness to both of them, they can play right or left side. But yes, they both.
Not for England, they can't clearly.
No. Well,
maybe they can, but they can't together. And for England.
Yeah, I mean they can interchange for their club on side, but obviously not here. But I think the problem isn't the side; it's the fact that they are too similar as defenders. And you look at them and go, I look at the best centre back pairings. Generally speaking, in this century, you've had the sort of stylistic ball playing, progressive centre half, and the big hard man alongside him. I'm sort of thinking Terry and Carvalho, Terry and Ferdinand, Vidic and Ferdinand, Saliba and Gabriel, Van Dijk and Konate, if you like. And it's not saying that, but they're sort of tight cast into that. But you look at those sorts of pairings, and it kind of works. This one, I'm looking at and going, well, neither can really play on the ball. Neither really that big, aggressive. It needs Harry Maguire or John Stones in there because John Stones does progress the ball. He is our best centre half at progressing the ball. No problem. I get. We talked about this, I think, last week. I get why John Stones is there because he is the best progressive centre half in terms of the ball that England have got. The problem is he's so radically unfit. It's why I'd have probably just played him through these last two games if you try and get him on the pitch and get him up to speed. Because this pairing doesn't work.
The last game he played, he was woeful.
Croatia, yeah, he was, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely shocking.
Yeah, he you're right, but as a pairing, I think he makes the pairing better overall. He's lacking match sharpness. This one, the combination doesn't work.
The problem is that we're all thinking that Maguire should be there and he should probably be a centre back with either Gahey or with Konza.
Yeah,
that's what should be happening. But obviously, that's not an option available to us. Even though we had a defender go out and then we put Chalobah in. I don't understand.
I genuinely don't understand.
You had a get out of jail free card.
Yeah.
You literally had a get out of jail free card, and you could have literally just put Maguire in. You could play, but if you bring Maguire in, Konza can play at right back.
Yeah.
Which he's done for his club. He's done for England before, and he's not going to be any worse than Kwanzaa.
No, agreed.
So I just think it's an option that should have been there, and it's just not.
Yeah, yeah. Let's just say,
or you could have put MLS in that basically can cover
midfield.
You can cover the midfield or the left back spot.
Left back.
Yeah. To cover your left back that's gone off.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, I know Miles Lewis-Kelly made a very late run with Arsenal, but we know full well what he's capable of, and you need players like that with versatility in the squad. It's why I was always a fan of, I'm going back a bit now, Owen Hargreaves being in the side, James Milner being in the squad. Even Phil Neville can cover both sides. Now, we got that with Spence and Livramento, but Livramento, as we said, he was always going to get injured, did get injured. And the same, and I'm sorry, but Spence is nowhere near good enough. He's just not. And I know at least Phil Neville was like the third best left backs and right back we had at the time,
Yeah. I mean, the whole jaw braces makes it look even worse. I think it brings too much attention to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if you're a bad player and you have a ridiculously bad haircut, Garnacho, I'm looking at you. I don't know if you've seen that haircut, but my God,
I haven't. Oh, he's got a new one, has he? Jesus.
Oh yeah. Look it up. I won't be able to do it justice describing it, so you just need to look it up. Honestly, it's just manic. Hang on. Lee says he's going to come on.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the message just come through for me too. But yeah, as you say, you don't want to draw attention to yourself, right? Because it just makes you a target, particularly if you're not that good a player. It's why I never wear colourful boots. I always wear black boots because
I mean, you can kind of get away with it a little bit because you're quite small.
I know I got done for our first goal last night.
But I'm not. I'm not using that as a slight. I'm just saying, if you're a Man Mountain and you're wearing pink boots, you're kind of opening yourself up to all sorts of scrutiny. Do you know what I mean? Whereas, evening, Lee. How are we, sir?
Hello. I'm a big fan of pink boots. How you doing, guys?
Are you a big bloke or are you 5'1" though?
Not quite 5'1". I'm a little bit taller than that.
You're not quite. I mean, I thought you were going a different direction there with
Straight
not quite 5'1". Yeah, the wrong way.
Hey, it's good to see you guys. It's family friendly.
Family friendly, friend zone.
Big up, Dom. How you doing, mate? Good to see you.
All good, mate. All good. So I just realised that we're live on my channel too. So I was just updating Twitter. So I've done one to promote Sparks' channel. I'm now doing one for mine. I haven't realised it's on mine.
I was late, to be fair.
You need to get an admin assistant, Dom.
Do you know what?
Need to be able to afford one of those.
I know. Do you know what?
That's about fundage. That one.
My son is going to write.
Give us a subscribe, guys. Come on, help us.
Yeah. Yes. We can do this. Lee's on now. So he said good evening for himself. Khalid's evening Khalid. How are we, sir? Welcome in. And Cooper says cheers, Dom. What's he cheersing in for?
I believe Stacey's watching as well. So hello, Stacey.
Hello, Stacey. And Cooper says smash the likes and subscribe, and we agree with that one as well. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, sharing the live. That will be appreciated. Thank you very much indeed.
Just really quickly, Cooper, what's the atmosphere like in the US? Last time I asked you this, you had to drop off before you could answer, but obviously you're out in the States. What's the atmosphere and what's the reaction been to the World Cup in the States. Would be good to just get your thoughts in the chat on that, mate, when you get a second.
Feels like it's really heating up for me.
Does it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, bit of drama over the last night or two. It's been great.
What, the penalty shootouts?
Yeah, absolutely.
What I watched the highlights of the Morocco Netherlands because I wasn't.
Do you want to call that highlights?
I mean, the penalty shootout was the highlights, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
What did the keeper saved the penalty and then it trickled in under his arm? What the hell was that about?
It's like a FIFA glitch, is what it was.
It was a bit like a FIFA glitch.
You gotta love things like that. I love
Yeah.
football like that. That's fun for me.
Yeah, it's like one of those, isn't it? When you're in the perfect position, he's just going to catch the ball like that, and his arms go like that.
Do you not think it's been heating up, Sparks? Because I've just been watching Norway against Ivory Coast.
I watched the Norway game. Yeah,
and it's a pretty decent game. Late winner, bit of drama. I've been enjoying that.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was quite an entertaining game, to be honest. I think Ivory Coast just left it a bit late, didn't they? They kind of almost played for a draw.
Yeah, absolutely. Perhaps.
Yeah, it was a bit bizarre, if you ask me. But yeah, normally you do it in like 10-minute spells, didn't you? So you sit back for 10 minutes and then go for 10 minutes and then sit back for 10 minutes. But yeah, it was a bit mad. That yeah,
they're playing Brazil now in the next round, aren't they?
Brazil.
That's on Sunday, mate, I believe.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be an enthralling game either.
Attack v defense, do we think?
Well, I just think that if you look at the Brazil game, the last Brazil game, it was very drab, wasn't it?
It wasn't the best, I'll be honest.
I didn't mind the second half too much. I quite enjoyed the second half, but that's partly because I was putting my shin pads and stuff on while I was watching it. So so doing two things at once, trying to eat a banana, get my kit changed, and put shin pads on. So I sort of was only really looking up for the sort of exciting bits, which I suppose helps.
Yeah, but I can also imagine that if you get that high line. That's that high line against Brazil. I can't imagine that's gonna. It'd just be a nightmare. That allows. Yeah, that allows Vinny to run on.
Yeah, and you get Gabby on as well if you're still looking for a goal because he can run and exploit that space.
Yeah. Have you done that, Dom?
No. You mean the weird thing where we're in double on our screens?
Yes.
No.
I might have done that myself. I don't know how.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not liking it.
Yeah, it's freaky. Okay.
It's not coming up on YouTube. I just literally.
Yeah, so long as it looks normal for that, and that's all that matters, really.
I shared it on Gooner Gathering. Give us a subscribe.
Right, so it's your one. Okay, fine, gotcha. That's fine. It's very disconcerting because I've never seen that before.
For those of you that don't know, what we can see is we can see ourselves in duplicate on our screen.
Well, triplicate. We've actually got triplicate because we can see the cameras below as well.
I've got three of me on my screen right now.
Yeah, exactly. And it's quite scary, to be fair. But let's talk about that one. I guess
that's a bit like the game I had concussion and I could see three of them.
6 Don Palmers.
Well, no, I couldn't see myself, luckily. I remember it really bizarrely. I remember it quite well. All I remember about the game is it was a semi-final. We won 2-1. It went to extra time, and I basically got concussion about 10 minutes in and played the entire game. And it took me about 3 or 4 minutes to work out which ball was the real ball of the three I could see. It's one of those ones where it happens now and you don't play on, but 20 years ago, you're like, it'd be fine, carry on.
DTE don't really exist, does it?
Yeah, I'm kind of having those vibes now, to be fair. But anyway,
my bad.
It's all good, all good. What was your thoughts on the England Panama game, Lee?
wasn't the best watch, to be all honest with you. I mean, so if we go into it and we're playing Kwanzaa at right back, bye Dom.
Bye, Dom.
Don't know
He'll
where
be
Dom's
back.
gone.
He'll be
Kwanzaa
back.
was playing at right back, but it was more of the way it looked from where I was. It was more like a 3 centre half situation where you got Kwanzaa. It's always the right centre back. You had two in front of him. Nico O'Reilly wasn't necessarily playing in a left back position. He was more inverted, a la Zinchenko, if you like, but keeping more on the left more than anything else. It was just a bit of a struggle for a while, I thought, and then we finally got a goal, and then the second one to finish it off. Yeah, it wasn't the best watch, but at least we got through.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all kind of concurred with that. It was a very drab affair, wasn't it? I mean, it's certain players weren't even in the game at all. I thought Bellingham has probably had his best game of the tournament of that game. But there were obviously some very drab moments.
What we do, we're going to bore them into submission. That's the plan.
Yeah.
And they're going to absolutely drop off. Just like if Dom's had a concussion, they're just going to completely switch off. And then they're going to carry on, and then we're going to get the win right late on.
Yeah, I mean, I'd take that point, but it didn't work for Germany.
It did not. That is true.
Yeah. I mean, I do feel sorry for Germany to a certain extent because
sorry,
I feel sorry for Germany. I feel sorry for Germany from a point of view that goal should never have been ruled out.
No, it shouldn't.
Oh, it was a clear foul by the West Ham number 19. Get in. I've been wanting to do that reference all day.
Now you've done it. You did it in triplicate as well by all accounts, but there we go.
You're right. You're absolutely right. It was a soft goal to rule out. But the longer they looked at it on the VAR, it was always going to get disallowed, wasn't it? And it's a shame for ourselves as Arsenal fans. We saw Kai miss the penalty. It's a shame that the chap who scored the that disallowed goal in extra time, is it Tal, was it? Tal, sorry. Yeah, Tal.
Yeah,
I'm mixing up the Spurs man, aren't I? Sorry, my bad. It was a shame to see his goal disallowed, and then to see him have had such a woeful penalty in the shootout.
Yeah, I think that's still going as well, and everything always seems to have a reference to Arsenal as well. So it's now being compared to the Gabriel penalty. So
have you got the picture?
I haven't got the picture. I can't remember
the picture from outer space where it's got the moon. It's got this Gabriel's and it's got his.
Hang on, I just searched it outside. Hang on.
Was it the ball landing?
It's just bouncing down the road.
I did your punchline for you.
Yes, I know.
In fairness, in my defence, I genuinely thought it was that bloody seagull back again.
You'd be able to hear the seagull before you could see it. Honestly, man. But yeah, there we go. I mean, to be honest, I didn't really feel for Kai as such because I want him on the beach. I don't really care if he's
I get you. Do you know what though?
Send the ball home now, and we don't need the money for them to be sat on a bench. They can just go on the beach. It's fine.
You mean we're going to miss a 75 grand per player per week?
Yes, really struggling with that.
Kai Havertz actually is one of the few players I don't mind going a little bit deeper at this tournament. Because I think he might do him a little bit of good to get a little bit of strength back in it. But by and large, obviously I want England to win the tournament, but right now I have absolutely zero faith that we're going to win the tournament. I think Thomas Tuchel is a better manager than Gareth Southgate, but I have less faith that he's going to bring this one home than I did under Gareth Southgate. I just don't get what he's doing. You know, I mean, you talk back in the early days of Mikel Arteta and people were like, why do you want this manager? I got what he was trying to do. I could see the vision. I could understand how it was all going to fit together. I don't get that with Thomas Tuchel, where at least under Gareth Southgate, I did understand what he was trying to do. And I just don't think whatever the hell it is we're trying to do works. But I'd love to see Saka home, Rice home, you know. Glad Timber didn't go.
To be fair, Saka, as the injury that Saka has is actually a movement related injury. So it's kind of one of those that needs gradual improvement in load to actually get it better. So I don't mind Saka so long as Tuchel is managing it, and I think he is managing it.
I was just going to say,
and I actually prefer the way that that Tuchel's managed players rather than Southgate, because if it was Southgate, he'd have played 89 minutes, he'd come off for one.
I think that's a very fair point on the player management. He's done a really good job of that.
The number of times that that Southgate had the chance to bring off players, our players in particular, and didn't do it. I think I'm happy with the manager change just for that, to be fair.
From that perspective, I think you're absolutely spot on. From an Arsenal perspective, I think absolutely correct. From an England perspective, not so much. But he has managed Bukayo Saka very, very well. And I thought he spoke very well on it. And same with, you know, letting Elliot Anderson go and do his medical in New York on Friday. That all made perfect sense as well.
Get that move done. It makes a lot of sense. I want to just chirp in a little bit on the Havertz thing that Don was talking about, because I mean Kai had done ever so well to get himself ready to go, and he'd had a pretty good tournament up to that last kicker that he had in the shootout, and he scored a bloody good goal, in fairness, last night to get him back in.
His last 7 now, Lee. Is that
I think right? That's about right, mate. Actually, yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah, he's only missed one game not scoring, I think.
And I feel sad for Kai because of his Arsenal connections. I don't feel sad for Germany, if that makes sense, because that's a big team that's gone out of the tournament. In the same way that obviously Holland went out last night. Again, big teams that are falling at this stage is always a big plus. I think we've got a long way to go for us to even be in the mix, if you like. I mean, the draw's been relatively kind in that it's Congo tomorrow, but let's just see how that goes before we start predicting when we go out.
Yeah, I mean, we topped the group anyway, didn't we? So we earned a better draw, I guess. So I think it was between Senegal and Congo. So
and a good doctor.
Yeah.
Hey.
Indeed. Christ.
Do you know what? One of my children
rolling down the street. I've set it off now.
Genuinely, my children thought it did stand for doctor. In fairness to her, she's 9.
Yeah, well, I mean,
let her off.
It counts for doctor then. Okay.
Do you know what? Actually, my 11-year-old, he turned 11 a couple of weeks ago, turned around to her and went, "It sounds a Democratic Republic you do for us."
Oh, wow. I mean, okay, bit harsh, but fair too. Khalid says, no drama for the England game, please. Professional win only.
I mean, have you been watching England for the last 60 years?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I did want to say that with Southgate, I do think he reached his ceiling.
I agree.
I think that what was kind of aimed at Arteta can be verified for Southgate. So I think the change was needed. Whether Tuchel's the guy, I'm not sure about that, to be honest. But
I think that's pretty much the point I was making earlier, which was, you know, I'm not convinced Tuchel's a guy, rather than we should have continued with Southgate. I think, Sparks, it might have been with you, Lee, actually. With one of you two on a show recently, we discussed the fact that Southgate went on one tournament too long from my point of view.
I mean, I made my mind up a long time before that, to be fair. But I try not to run agendas and kind
If
of.
If I may, Spox, watching Southgate's England was like watching paint dry, and I was so tempted to put a live stream of paint drying on Goonya Gathering over the last couple of weeks when we've had England games going on, because it hasn't been.
I mean,
been fun, has it?
In fairness, you probably get a copyright strike for that, something. But
possibly,
so it's a good job he didn't do that. To be
the
fair.
Croatia game was entertaining. If watching our defence was, a bit worrying, but
yeah,
I mean, I would say it's probably entertaining for the wrong reasons.
Yes.
But
we went from one extreme to the other, didn't we?
Well, that's why it was entertaining for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, right.
You didn't know what was going to happen next. It was like,
if you put Benny Hill music over the top of our defending,
you could literally do that quite easily. Quite easily put Benny Hill or a sketch of Hale and Pace or something like that. It was,
you're showing your age, mate. Come on,
I know. But
it's a young audience, this YouTube lark.
Yeah, I know, but sometimes only the older things kind of hit the actual crescendo. You know what I mean?
I get ya.
So
you could
Daniel from
me.
I've just had this on for a minute, so let's get through these and then we can chat rubbish again. So Daniel from Clash of the Reds podcast says, "Evening, gents." He also said we can go into this as well. Actually, did you hear Petit on Talksport on Klopp's comments? So people that haven't heard it, that are under a rock, basically said that the goal for Germany shouldn't have been ruled out, which I agree with him with. And he said that 60% of Arsenal goals have been scored that way. Complete lie, complete fabrication. It's more like 16% that have gone through a corner.
Has anyone got their bottles for Arsenal tears? Anyone?
Yeah. I mean, I've rebranded them all City, so I can't spare any to do Liverpool ones. So we're not going to advertise City on this particular stream. We'll save that for another one. So Petit basically said,
to be fair, City are too busy paying off Chelsea.
Well, that as well, but we can breeze over that one as well. But you know how you steal my topics, right? yeah.
Just calls out saying. Palmer.
Yeah, just saying. It's
a fair criticism.
It's a very fair criticism. I mean,
you can cut that as a short.
We both do that. I mean, AI will do it. Don't worry.
Good man.
AI will have it. So basically, Petit said, "Well, we're in the World Cup, so why are you talking about Arsenal anyway?" Which is valid. But yeah, and it's just completely untrue. So, what thoughts do you have on those comments, boys?
Yeah, go firstly.
I mean, the West Ham number 19 clearly fouled the goalkeepers. I don't know what you're talking about. And it's the criticism. Obviously, I get. I mean, we've been called set piece FC for blooming how many seasons now? But then it's funny when one goes right for England, it's all fine, right?
Yeah, I think it's called hypocritical, isn't it? Something like that.
I think that would be the exact phrase required.
Yeah. Oh, and people actually shamelessly coming out, basically going, "Yeah, well, it doesn't have Arsenal involved, so it's a set piece. So I'm supporting England." Yeah. Well, that's not shamelessness. That's just blatant hypocrisy.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Daniel also said, "Good points, Dom, on Kai." I agree with that. Heard rumours Saka and Saliba need surgery.
Right. The Saliba one has come back again in the last few days, hasn't it? And the French camp don't appear to be denying it. Saka's one seems a little bit more, it's a possibility England are Arsenal might need to consider after the World Cup, but that feels less likely to me, and I think that will be a last resort. And it should always be a last resort for all these players, but Saliba feels the more likely for me. As I say, because France aren't denying, but also, and maybe this is just coincidence, and maybe this is just a rumour mill going, but suddenly Arsenal being linked with centre halves on the day
I was
that
going to say
story
exactly the
breaks
same thing.
in France,
So,
does feel like. I mean, I think we need another defender in anyway. By the way, Miles Lewis-Skelly moving into midfield.
exactly. Yeah.
But interesting there, because particularly as Ben White, Arsenal, Hand of Arsenal, reporting this the other day. I don't know whether this was just in his group chat that I'm lucky enough to be on, or whether this was on Twitter. I can't remember where it was, but he was basically saying Arsenal would be open to offers for Ben White, but there doesn't seem to be much of a market post-injury for him, and Everton don't.
Probably not surprised, right?
Yeah, and he was also saying Everton don't right now don't want to meet Arsenal's asking price for Ben White. So this would be in addition to Ben White. I think that if Ben White goes, there is an argument you need two. But the fact it's a centre half as opposed to a full back / centre half suggests to me that William Saliba may well miss the start of the season.
So Saliba starts for France tonight. That's a point to observe as we go along. I broke a news story on my channel about Saliba being a doubt for the World Cup. So it was like, we'll see what happens with him. It wouldn't be an utter surprise. The worry would be the recovery time. But I think Dom will probably agree with me, knowing how well I know Dom, that if that's the case, if we have to go in with Gabriel Magalhaes and Christian Mosquera, I don't think that's going to really worry me too much at the start of the season. The Saka one, I felt that they've been managing him and his minutes pretty well. So he's been sub for 2 of the group games. He's not had an awful amount of game time. And in the last game, where in fairness, he got probably about a 5 out of 10 for me. When he started, he got 60 minutes in the last game against Panama. So look, I'd be thinking, do we risk him in starting him tomorrow? I don't know if we do, because if you've got a clearly fit like Madueke, for example, Madueke could run him right wild, to be fair.
Yeah, I completely agree. And obviously, when you get to the point where you go, when you know what the injury is and you know what it actually takes to recover from it, I do think that Saka will be okay. Yeah. I think that everything's kind of been managed, and loads been increased as and when. I don't think he'll start. I think he'll probably come on for a sub appearance again. I think that the managing the workload means that you basically, it's an hour one game, it's half an hour the next game. It's an hour one game, half an hour the next game.
And particularly as these come after 4 days apart, these two games.
Well, exactly. This is the other thing, because we did have a week between games, and now we don't have that. So it's it's not 2 games in 5 days like he's been used to, but the program's kicking up a little bit. I mean, it might not kick up at all, after Wednesday.
Might not need to worry about it.
I might have to worry about it. And but I want England to do well, but I also want my players on the beach. And
that is the thing, right? Is that we're looking at the start of the season with like the Saliba and Saka potentially requiring surgery. Whether Timber's going to be back, Ben White is stepping up his recovery. From injury, there's been pictures.
He is training on his own, isn't he? Because obviously the team weren't back, but they came back Monday, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah. So he should be training in a group now, theoretically, with the new doctors and the new staff. So we can talk about that as well.
10 less youth team players, I believe.
Yeah, I mean that happens every year. I'm not
I think there's 6 less, isn't there?
No, it's 10 now.
Oh, is it 10 now?
Yeah, it's 10 now.
Fine.
Yeah.
Only one with first team appearances, and that's of course Josh Nichols. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the start of the season is going to be a bit of a hodgepodge, right? For particularly the top sides, because they are going to want their players to get a 3-week break, and then they're going to go through some kind of preseason, And I remember Pep doing this where he didn't play certain players that had gone far in the tournament in the entirety of August. And I could see Mikel Arteta doing something like that. I could also see him, by the way, rushing them back. Neither would shock me, but I think if he's sensible, he takes that first option, which is gives them a rest, gets them through a bit of preseason. Yes, we got a couple of tricky games early on, but this squad will be added to this summer. I'm convinced of that. And it is strong enough to get through. And I think you feel the benefit of that in the back end of the season if you get that first few weeks right by giving them a rest.
Yeah, the other thing is that it's clear to see that obviously he's seen inadequacies in the fitness department, right?
Yeah.
So he's found it, or whoever that they there's a Spanish guy being brought in, and he's done an audit and basically, told him to rip it up and start again, basically.
Right. I mean, some of these guys that have left. I mean, Sam Wilson, for obvious reasons that Dom will know, will ring out as a name that I remember. But he's been at the club for a long time. He's been a tactical, whatever the word is, evaluates things for a long time.
He's a tactical and fitness coach, basically.
That's it. Exactly it. And we've had another one.
Why he went, by the way. Some saying he was sacked by Arsenal. Some saying that actually he felt he'd done his time and been offered by a friend of his to go to Juventus. Somebody with a long time before. I can't remember the guy's name now. He left a couple of years ago from Arsenal to go to Juventus, and he's been there 12 years. And he just felt it was time for a new challenge. So either way, he's gone. The other one was a definite sacking.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt about that one.
Which one? The doctor.
Yeah, the doctor was a sacking, and so was,
he got sacked twice. Did you know that he got sacked twice?
Twice.
Yeah, the coaches basically sacked him, and then the management basically sacked him as well.
Yeah, I've got another guy's name now because all I can think of is Sam Wilson, Tom something or other his name was. But I mean,
that's right.
Ultimately, there's been a lot of tension. A lot of credible reports talking about the tension between the coaching staff and the medical staff. The medical staff saying they're being, you're trying to rush them back a little bit too quickly, which at times was probably necessary because of the numbers of injuries in areas. That was certainly the same the season before. And the coaching staff was wanting them back. I think that tension is always going to be there. I do think Arsenal have actually managed their workload, bar the centre midfield, significantly better this season than ever before. That's partly because the squad's been there. I talk about this a lot where people say, well, Bukayo Saka was overplayed, Ben White was overplayed, Saliba was overplayed. Yes, they were, but look at the quality that was behind them. If you're playing the likes of the players that were behind them at the time, they weren't of a level to get you to challenge for the Premier League. So you had two choices. Did you play them and drop points, or did you rest the better players? And ultimately, we are where we are now because of the strategy that we did use, which was we're going to play our best players and we're going to get the points, we're going to get the Champions League and get the best players in. I think there is an impact now, but ultimately, Mikel Arteta has, by his own admission, said he overtrained a little bit last season. The season we've just had, he's dialed that back. There's been times where they've trained 15, 20 minutes and then gone in to try and ease the workload. So clearly, the coaching staff appear from the outside to have tried to make things better. There will be bits they've got wrong, and they need to also look at themselves to see where they can improve too. And I'm sure they will have done because the evidence is there from the season before to this season. But ultimately, you've just had a manager win the Premier League. You've got a choice between revamping your medical department or revamping your coaching department. You've just won the Premier League. It was always going to be the medical department.
100%. And you have to learn from mistakes that we probably made prior. And you're right. We have probably gone to situations. I mean, Saka's probably a great example of that, where you probably brought him back maybe a bit earlier than you probably want to. But at the least in the it's funny we talk about this. We've just won the Premier League season with missing our captain Odegaard for the most of it, and Bukayo Saka for a vast majority of it.
Not to mention Kai Havertz.
We had no strike force for the first part.
Exactly.
Absolutely none of it. We had Marino up top.
Exactly.
And, obviously, still, I think the unsung hero of the season for me, Marino, and to the point where he put himself out, and and he was missed, wasn't he? So it's still, I still think people gloss over what he actually did for us last season. To be honest with you.
I think that because it was one of them that really wasn't a spectacular signing, but came in, done a job, and I mean none more so than that the goal against Newcastle early doors in the season, was such an important marker for how our season was going to go, and he never moaned once when he wasn't in the side, and He's in the Spanish national side right now.
He's the captain.
And, well, apparently I've not seen him with the armband, but yeah, he's supposed to be their captain.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the captain's armband really means that much, to be honest. It's just rotating round certain players, and I do think his leadership was missed. To be honest with you, I think that was a big loss. Certainly to see certain games out. I think that was a big miss towards the end of the season. To be honest, so just that little bit of composure, that little bit of just doing the not
doing the unglamorous
really expressive,
not stuff,
nothing expressive, just literally. I'm just going to do this and I'm going to soak a few seconds up.
Yeah, and I think, there's 2 points here. One, I really don't care who wears your armband. You want a group of leaders, right? And I think that's kind of where it is with Spain with Mikel Merino. But I think the thing on Mikel Merino is I think this is going to sound mad, but he's the type of signing that the best squads have, where he is a player that is popular. He brings a leadership. And when he gets on the pitch, he's going to give you a 7 out of 10, whilst understanding his role in the side, and can come up with those crucial interventions, even if they are the unglamorous bits that you were just referring to there, Sparks, where no one overly notices, but someone has to do. And I think from that point of view, I do think he has been a really good signing. And I remember defending him consistently on other shows where I'm like, he's come in to be a squad player. We should judge him as a squad player. And as a squad player, I think he's been a very good signing. If you want to judge him as a starter, then obviously not. But all the evidence shows you that he wasn't signed to be that, because he's not been the regular starter, because that's not what he was asked to do, and it's not his role.
No,
and I also vast amount of experience as well. Sorry, Bucks. Vast amount of experience that some of that team don't have. Some of it is still very, very young, and when you've got an experienced pro like him to come in and help, and we'll use that word again, lead by example, that sort of experience is invaluable, and that went to prove in several occasions last season.
Yeah, and the Arsenal Therapy show here says, giving tactical instructions on the fly as well. He's stronger than Declan at that. I completely agree. And it's literally just that little bit of composure, and where Declan maybe takes a second or two to think about it, he's literally he's got it. And I just think it's underestimated how difficult that is, and how much we've missed that over the years as well. When we've had teams that have had soft underbellies, had lack of leadership, lack of direction, not being able to see games out, and I just think it was facilitated the Zubimendi thing as well, because he's one of the best mates of his as well. So
And
I
that's
think,
really helps with Mendy. You see how shy he is at the end of the
Yeah.
season, like the parade and the
Yeah.
trophy lift on. How shy was he having to be forced to the front by the other players because he's that
Yeah.
shy? So having someone like Mikel Merino around is
not the only one
crucial
that
to
did
him.
that either, by the way. That was forcing things. I think Calafiori was similar at points as well.
Yeah, I think so too. But I mean, just on the Arsenal Therapy Show's point here, it's a really good one because it shows why you want different types of leaders on the pitch. So you've got someone like Moreno or Odegaard who will sort of give that tactical direction. Saka for a little bit of calmness in leadership. And then you've got the other side of that with Gabriel and Rice who will fire you up in those big moments and will grab you by the scruff of the neck and shove you 5 yards to the left because that's where they want you. You know, I think Arsenal got that spot on in that leadership group. And again, it's why I go on about I don't care whether Odegaard's captain. It doesn't bother me because you want those different personalities doing all those different things. And I think that's where Arsenal got it absolutely spot on that group. And I think that's what saw them over the line in the end was that despite not having experience of necessarily winning the Premier League in the side bar Gabriel Jesus and Hincapié, obviously with the Bundesliga, it was that collective qualities being able to support every single one of their teammates over the line between them.
Yeah, let me do these couple of comments. So FC 87 always says, big up panel, big up yourself. Saka should be on the same level as Dembele, but his grade 3 hamstring has ruined him. I think he's managing it, to be honest. I think it's just I don't think he's the same style of player as Dembele is. He wants to square a man up and he wants to wrong foot him rather than whip past him. You've got Martinelli to do that job, I guess.
Yeah, I
you
agree.
can argue whether that needs upgrading. That's a different discussion, but yeah, that's why I say if Martinelli goes, we need somebody in the same kind of style to replace him.
Dynamic sort of style. Absolutely.
Because if you end up with the Rogers who does the same thing as Saka on the other side, you just need that.
It's too central at that point.
Yeah, well, I just think it just needs a bit more flow.
Yeah,
it needs a bit more dynamism. I think Lee said so. I think it was.
If Rogers comes in, it's Trossard. He replaces Trossard, right? And if Barcola comes in, it's to replace Martinelli.
Yeah, well, let's not skip. Let's not steal another, headline. Let's go through the thing and then get there. Yeah, right. Yeah. Stealing thunder again.
We really should work out what we're going to say in advance and share it.
We
need program notes, editor.
We do program notes, and it just doesn't work. We just, I mean, I guess if we actually shared notes, that might be a start. But there we go. We can't cope with a vertical and a horizontal screen, so we're not going to do notes as well. But AFC 87 always also says Arsenal scored 19 goals from corners last season and finished first. Tottenham scored 18 goals from corners and finished 17th. And that's what it's about. I mean, obviously the defence kind of backed it up more than anything, to be honest, because we were probably the most, well, we weren't probably the most, we were the most solid at the back. So,
they bought a relegation specialist today, apparently. Out from West Ham.
Fernandez for 85 million.
We'll get there. We go in there. Saka hasn't been the same player since the hamstring. Yeah. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that obviously he's gotten other injuries on top of it. You've got to build your fitness back up after a hamstring anyway, and he got hit by another injury, which is very common when you're coming back from that kind of injury, and you've just got to work through that as well. And if he needs surgery again, then he'll have to work through that as well. So hopefully that's not the case, and he just needs to build up his own fitness and
very similar to Kai Havertz getting them as well, right? That it is, as you say, so common when you get these big injuries that you then get another couple of niggles because you slightly adjust the way your body's reacting to it. The strength isn't there, and you have to build it up slowly. So it's what made Jurrien Timber's, and I keep saying this point, but Jurrien Timber's recovery just remarkable after he came back.
Yeah, well, he was split in sides as well.
doesn't it emphasise as well how important Noni Madueke's signing was? When you have a player that can play naturally on the right hand side, yeah, it might not be everyone's absolute favourite, but when you've got someone who can sort of naturally take that button, play wide, and having the benefit of having the other foot as well, it just goes to prove that a lot of people who wanted to doubt that signing were very, very wrong, I believe.
Yeah, I do think they were wrong. I do think that they also have points along the way. I don't think he's the complete player. I think we all knew that. We all wanted to be proven wrong with that as well, but we all support the players. So at the end of the day, we're not going to bang on about it. But you can't argue that the final ball is a bit deficient.
It's his decision making as well, isn't it?
This is kind of what I was going to say as well. Was sometimes you want him to run when he stands a player up, and sometimes you want to stand a player up when he runs. So like you say, it is that decision making, and AFC doesn't agree that he was a good signing.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we're not in the position we are without that signing.
No,
so
I agree.
At the end of the day, you can argue the quality, and we'll. Certainly, I will be the first to agree with you on that point. I can't speak for everybody else, but the final ball, the final decision is the critical point, and he doesn't always do the right thing. But I think he's effective running at the guy or standing the guy up, but. Yeah, it's selective whether he chooses the right one.
Yeah, I get you. He's one that divides a whole crowd, isn't he? It'd be for some a little bit inconsistent. I will agree.
He always will, because he came from Chelsea, and I hated the whole petition thing. By the way, I think no one at Arsenal comes out well out of that. But I think the thing, Semenyo would have been the ideal signing, no question. I don't know how Arsenal went after him, what the thought process was behind that. Whether he thought he didn't want to come to Arsenal because he wanted to play on the right, although he's played a bit on the left for City as well, of course. But, behind Saka, it's such a difficult position to buy with your Arsenal, because Bukayo Saka is the man. It's a bit like being Declan Rice's deputy, isn't it? If it's a big game, he's going to play. So Noni Madueke for me has been a decent signing. The fee was the going rate for that position last summer. That's just where the market was. But he is for a squad player I think Arsenal have got a decent, a good quality backup to Bukayo Saka in one of the most difficult positions in the side to be the backup, simply because Bukayo Saka starts, and you have to accept you're the squad player. And actually, many players aren't coming out, and I think Semenyo will probably fall in that category of.
You're not signing a Barcola, are you, to go on right wing to sit on the bench?
Well, it's why Barcola isn't signing this new contract reportedly at Paris Saint-Germain. Now, maybe that's a negotiating position to get more money. Time will tell.
He wants game time, apparently.
But exactly, that is what's coming. And that makes sense, because he's behind Kvaratskhelia, and that's not sustainable in the long term. I know it's a different position, which is why Ramsdale went. It's why Leno went, because he's the goalkeeper, and it's more difficult to get game time if you're the number two. And you're capable of being a number one. But it does apply to outfield players. Yes, you might get more minutes, but at some point you want to be the main man. And that's what makes it so difficult in those positions where there is a clear number one. And Saka is that, just like Kvaratskhelia is at Paris Saint-Germain. And that's why I'm not so critical on the Madueke signing. But Sparks is right. He does need to improve that final ball and that decision-making. I think it has improved over the season, but there's still work to do.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Completely agree, and I don't agree with what AFC always says, and he's perfectly entitled to his own opinion. Don't hold anything against anybody for having their own opinion. I just don't happen to agree with it. I don't think it was a bad signing as such. I do think it was. I wish it was a better signing, but I just wonder if Semenyo I just wonder if the pace aspect was the clincher. The fact that he's just not that whippet.
Yeah, he's not slow, but he's not at the pace of Madueke or Martinelli.
So yeah, I just wonder if that was the deal breaker, if you like. They just needed somebody with that
perhaps so.
Speed.
Perhaps so, but Inaf made a difference when as soon as he signed for City, he was banging goals like he's been doing for Bournemouth for a while, and he was a great signing for them. So yeah,
he's a very good player.
Yeah,
I genuinely think. I mean, going back to last summer, Arsenal, all the usual rumours coming out. We know Berta looks at a lot of players. I just wonder if it was hot for about a week and it went very quiet, and it's why I have no evidence to support this. It's just my view is I think he was told that we were signing for the right hand side because that's the wing we were looking at because we didn't go for a left winger last summer, and it was I don't want to be. He didn't want the offer that was made to Madueke, which is you'll play some minutes on the left, but you'll primarily sack as backup. And I think that's why he chose to stay at Bournemouth. City came in and said, you're going to be our main man because Foden's not playing well. Grealish is gone. Savio isn't of the right level. And therefore it's an attractive offer because I think he wanted the minutes. I respect that, by the way.
Yeah, I also think it's highly likely that he was told to wait until the summer. And say hang out till the summer and we come and get you, and he didn't want to wait.
Yeah,
quite possible. Yeah,
that's yeah. Do you want to do the transfer segment, Dom?
Sure. Yeah. Should we start with the sort of rumours asking price around the left wings? We'll go in chronological order of them here, which is Aston Villa saying they want 130 million for Rogers. Paris Saint-Germain similarly coming out saying they don't view Barcola as for sale. They see the addition of Yan Diamonde as an additional to their forward line. And again, they would be looking for similar money to what Morgan Rogers is. Thoughts on what I see as ridiculous prices in this window? And are you surprised that this is the stance of these teams?
I'm not surprised by the stance. Obviously, the Anderson kind of deal throws everything back up in the air, doesn't it? So it's like, well, if they can get it, we can get it.
As does Yan Diamonde himself at 100 million euros. Admittedly, he's a young lad.
He's a young guy, 2-footed. He's actually 2-footed, so a bit of a premium as well for a winger. It was up against Liverpool as well, so or they were up against Liverpool to get him, but
it sets the market, right? Is a general point.
Yeah, so it literally lays the marker down, but there are only so many teams that have got that kind of money. So at the end of the day, once they're fulfilled, then they're not moving, are they? So either they don't need to sell, which in some cases we know that's not true, or they're just pushing their luck. I mean, look at West Ham, and they managed to get the 85 asking price for Fernandes, which is well, I don't
mind blown on that. To be fair,
they're literally they're miracle workers from that point of view for me. Absolutely ridiculous. I think it should be. I think it should be 55 absolute maximum for a
in this market, maybe 60.
Side. Maybe 60 if you're actually pushing it.
But West Ham, to your point, we're in a very weak negotiating position as well.
Well, this is the point.
They've just gone down. They know we need to sell. He's too good for the Championship, and yet they got their 85 million.
Well, they got a bidding war, didn't they? They got two good teams, two top teams vying for his signature. So they just played them off against each other. So yeah, I mean, fair play to them. If you can get that money, then fair enough. I don't think Barcola is going to get played. It was hard to get him played as it was
at PSG. You mean?
Yeah, at PSG. So getting Diamande in now. 100 million quid. He's not going there to warm the bench, is he? So, at the end of the day, he's going to get played. Somebody's got to go. And that somebody's Barcola, who wasn't getting minutes in the first place. So I don't know. I don't know if they've got the art of negotiating down to a T, because
That's the one.
What they've done is basically they've showed their cards. The poker hand has now been revealed. They're not getting 130 million quid for him.
No, I mean, I think that's probably right. I think with transfers, it's always difficult to work out your order, isn't it? Ideal world, you could do the same both simultaneously, because if you sell one, then people know you got the money and the price goes up for the replacement because they know you're desperate. So I think from that point of view, I'm not sure Yandim Mande changes it, but I think the fact that he's not wanting to sign a deal and he's not being guaranteed the minutes, and he's the level of player he is sitting behind Kvaratskhelia really means for me they're not getting 130 million. I can see the logic behind Villa saying Morgan Rogers, I think, is a more effective player in the Premier League. I know he's a different player than Elliot Anderson position-wise, but he's a more effective player with more of a Premier League history behind him than Elliot Anderson, and therefore them saying we want more than Anderson. I can see the logic behind that, particularly as they're in the Champions League as well. And I think more and more likely, I think it's Arsenal sign one or the other, because these prices are unaffordable to do both, even if you had a big sale. And I think someone like Odegaard is probably the man that goes in the world where you sign Morgan Rogers and Barcola, because I think Tzolis or someone like that replaces Trossard. But Martin Odegaard is starting to show what he's about now. For the last 18 months, I've said he's been playing with an injury and he needs to find some minutes. And if we do that, we could see Odegaard back. I think Sparks has a really good point about the press. That has changed without him. Be interested to see what we do tactically pre-season this time to see if he can fit back into a pressing system there. But he has just assisted 3 straight games at World Cup, Martin Odegaard, which suggests to me he's starting to find some of that form and rhythm back. But, I just don't see both signing at, essentially 200, let's call it 250 million when you factor in, sign-on bonuses and what have you for the two. I just can't see Arsenal doing that, given they want a central midfielder and a defender.
Dom, it's a big shout. It's a big shout on Odegaard, isn't it? Because we've had about 2 seasons worth of him not really playing to the form that he's shown previous, and we've seen injury after injury after injury with him. But when he's come off the bench, especially right at the death, I can think of the West Ham game for sure. When he's come on, he's made a difference. We've seen him
as well before he got injured.
And now we're seeing him in the World Cup doing ever so well for Norway. And it's a big call. I mean, part of me really thinks of the Reece James situation, where you know a player that's got injury, that has another injury, which follows by about 3 games after he's played pretty good, that he goes and gets another injury. It puts the manager in a very difficult position what to do with him, doesn't it?
Yes, it 100% does. And, I think, it has been difficult for him to get that rhythm back in his game. And I think, there is some legitimate criticism of his form in the last 18 months. It's not been to the level that it should be. And, I think there is some fairness to the point he does slow things down that AFC always has just made. But I think Mikel Arteta has said it himself that he wants to see him further forward on the pitch. But we also know that Arsenal, when he is playing well, I think are a better side with Odegaard. So it is an interesting one that they do this summer. But when I look at where he goes, in this market, Odegaard is an 80-90 million pound player minimum. And I don't see where that comes from with the sides that would be looking for him sort of player. And that, but we'd need something like that to come in for a player if you're getting Barcola and Rogers, which is why I think it's one or the other. And, as he always made the point that Sparks and I were talking about the other day, Liverpool are going to go in hard for Barcola now. So you potentially get a bidding war. That is a way that Paris Saint-Germain might get close to 130.
Did you see the Liverpool links with Minte?
The Brighton player, former Newcastle.
Yeah.
That would be a smart signing, but that's your squad signing.
Not really. It was 90 million quid, apparently.
Well, I mean, that's ridiculous.
Too
But
much money for that.
yeah, that's mental. But I mean, he'd be a smart signing, but he'd be your backup to Salah. But Salah's going. They need a replacement for Salah. If I was going for, I mean, it's going to be a 60, 70 million pound player now, which is mental because this market is just ridiculous. But I think Jared Bowen would be a smarter signing than Minter, but on that right hand side, because you have to replace
for Liverpool
now. For Liverpool, yeah.
I'd say that makes sense. He's a Premier League player who knows the league. You're going to get some consistency out of Bowen. I think, that's a good shout, Tom.
Hopefully they go for him and it takes the pressure off of Barcola. But Barcola is, for me, is better on the left anyway than the right. But I think this is classic Berta right now, weighing up all the options and seeing which side and player is going to blink first or push hard to join Arsenal. And it may well just come down to where the money comes in for players leaving. I don't know if you two had final thoughts on that before we sort of move on to the other big sort of rumour this evening around Arsenal.
You go, Spots.
Go on.
Okay. I largely agree. It's one of them you have to really weigh up and consider. But as a general point, the transfer market as we see it right now is absolutely ridiculous, and you have to be so careful. You make one massive signing with so much money. I've seen it so many times before, where that player goes and plays about 7 games for you, and then he's hurt and you won't see him again. I think the word it's unsustainable the way that the market is at the moment. It's just my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree. And you've got FC always said, I don't want Arsenal to spend 100 million on Tonali when an MLS can play in his natural position. We need to spend that money on a left winger, as is not left-sided 10. Look, I think you're merging 2 points there, to be fair. I don't think the Tonali thing... Tonali in MLS, yes, yeah, fine. I don't think Eze playing left stops us getting a left winger.
No,
because I don't either.
Because Eze playing left is essentially Trossard anyway. Trossard does that, so I don't think that it really affects a true left winger coming in. And
I think Eze effectively with Calafiori behind him going on the overlap. By the way.
Well, I think that you've got the 2 dimensions, because obviously you've got Nkapie there and you've got Calafiori in there as well. Obviously, the dimensions change a little bit from MLS doing the left back role and inverting a la O'Reilly. But yeah, I don't think that all these things, AFC always, I don't think they relate to each other like you kind of made out that they do.
Right.
I think that they're 2 separate issues, and maybe even 3, if you're actually looking at it that way, because Eze is an option for the left 8 to 10. He's not a winger. He might play on the left. We already have players that do that. We also have a winger. He plays on the left. We now find that he can play in the centre mid 8 to 10 role and force through as a striker. So something we haven't seen for a good while. So maybe something Arteta should have tried before as well. But obviously now he's seen that certain players can do it. I think Ancelotti, when he did that, though, I think he just threw all his chips down and went, just go and sort it out. I don't care how you do it, just go and sort it out.
And the space was there as well last night.
It was.
I don't think that works in the Premier League. Japan.
It was like you say, it was attack versus defense. They were going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. There was nothing to offer on a counter attack, so they could go, well, he's safeguarding him. We don't need him anymore. we throw another attacker on. So
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
it just works.
Technically, he was playing in that left eight, but I think really he was almost more as in possession. He was almost in that sort of 9-10 hybrid, wasn't he? Really?
Yeah, it was like a 4-4-2, but then went spun into a 4-2-4.
Out of it, yeah.
I mean, 4-1-6.
Old school Brazil.
4-1-5. It was weird.
Yeah, it was very, very fluid.
Yeah,
very fluid. But what do you guys make of the links then? Just quickly moving on, because obviously the left wing, we'll see what happens. But Arsenal being linked with Leeds goalkeeper Meslier. I've butchered his pronunciation because I've got it in front of me. Meslier, thank you. The Leeds goalkeeper. If Kepa were to go, I mean, I can't say I think that is a sound replacement for Kepa if he were to go. And I think there is a legitimate chance he goes this season, because he will possibly want first team to be the number one goalkeeper somewhere, even if it's at lesser side, after a good season at Bournemouth, a couple of years back. Thoughts on him?
Strong no. I mean, I can't put it in. When I've seen the Leeds keeper,
the Leeds backup goalkeeper. Let's be honest.
Yeah, when I've seen him play, when he's played Premier League, he looks way out of his depth. Absolutely not, mate.
Yeah,
give me Kepa any day on that one.
I absolutely concur.
Find us Kepas.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going with the joke, but
that's almost as bad as mine.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that's the worst one so far, but there we go. I mean,
the thing is, who do you sign? It's a difficult position to sign, isn't it? To find someone that wants to be a backup to Rayo. It's similar to what we were talking about earlier with Saka, right? Who wants to be the backup that's of the right quality?
Look, we kind of had the conversation beforehand, and I think that Meslier is a championship goalkeeper. I don't think he's suited for the Premier League, at least the top half of the Premier League. He maybe can kind of 15th down potentially, but that's about it for me.
But even then, as we were saying, you look to upgrade him if he continues in that position if you haven't got the money to upgrade him. Rather than
Ramsdale is an upgrade on him,
significantly upgrade.
So I take Ramsdale back before that happens.
Absolutely, 100%.
But Ramsdale's going to cost you more than it's going to cost you. Than you get back in for Kepa.
I don't care.
No, I mean, I'm happily taking Ramsdale back. Arsenal, no question. But my point here being, Arsenal probably don't want to make that change. They'd rather probably keep it as it is and continue and look at other positions on the pitch. But they do need to be prepared because someone may well want Kepa as number one goalkeeper, and I think he would want to go in that scenario.
Yeah, but if it's a choice of 5 million for Meslier and 20 million for Ramsdale, I'm paying 20 million for Ramsdale all day long. Yeah,
I am too, as long as it doesn't mean that some other piece of business can't be doesn't get done.
Yeah, I'm with that as well.
But again, obviously the keeper out, keeper in, so it's not cost of position. We get the essentially the release clause for him as well, so it would kind of tit for tat sort of thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. And I think probably from a PSR perspective, it would work if you said 15 million from Ramsdale. I mean, in theory, for this market, it could be 300 million, but, you're probably getting 5 to 10 for Kepa. I think there's a matching what Chelsea paid clause in there being reported. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. So that would be 5 million for Kepa. But over a 3-year deal, that matches out from a PSR perspective. It's not PSR anymore, but I can't think what the new acronym is. SCR, thank you. I knew it began with an S.
Squad cost ratio.
That's the one. But but again, I think we're set up for an exciting transfer window for Arsenal. But I do wonder whether we see pivots from Arsenal because of these crazy prices.
I think we're always going to pivot because of expenses. But I'd like to see us just go all out in one area.
Yeah.
100%.
I think we will. There'll be a big signing this summer.
Yeah, I can't help thinking that Rogers is a smokescreen for something. Purely because I don't think that's the position that he's going in for. I don't think is his primary position. So
No, I agree.
that's the only reason I think that. I have no evidence to back that up. It's pure hypothesis from my point of view. But yeah, it just seems very odd, and there is starting to get from bigger clubs, let's say, a little bit of an overload of certain players that are surplus to requirements, and their valuations are a little bit
More realistic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I think the thing with Rogers, and it's been my thing, I think Rogers is a fine player. I do not think he's a £130 million player. I'm not touching that. And part of the reason for that is I don't quite work out where he plays. For me, if he comes in, he plays as a 10. That, for me, is where I'd be playing Morgan Rogers. But I'm not paying £130 million for Morgan Rogers. I'm not. That may be where the market is, but I think that would be an overpay. But I do, like you, want to see a big name signing come in.
I agree with you.
No, honestly, I see that happening.
What, spending 130?
It's going to be a big fee. But
On Rogers.
Yeah, I know. Here's the thing: we underrate him. We saw how good he was for Villa, and in the Europa League in particular as well. It probably adds to the fee. Unfortunately, that's what we're talking about, right? It's the inflation on the fees, and it is ridiculous. So it's a long way.
And he's homegrown as well.
Yeah, it's that English tax on it as well.
Yeah, no, he agrees with you. So it's yeah. I have ignored your other message on purpose. So we will address that other message, which I think is absolute madness, by the way. But we will address that before we go offline, because I want to get your opinions on it, to be honest. But yeah, for me, I think that fee, and I agree with both of you, if we paid that fee for him to play as a 10, I'd be fine with it. If we're paying that fee for him to play left wing, then I'm not fine with it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Because I want a proper left winger to be in that position if that's the case. I don't want a multi-function facet of 10, 8, another 10 on the other side, a left wing. We've got that already.
I mind it slightly less if Trossard were to go out, but I don't. But I think Morgan Rogers' best position is centrally, and if I'm paying that much, I want him in his best position.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You're not paying 130 million quid for a Trossard replacement.
No. So that's why
that's my point. But yeah, and always says he can play multiple positions. He can, but obviously it depends what the primary position you're buying him for. That's all my point is.
And the other point is, of course, if you do get Rogers in 10, what do you do with Eze?
Well, Eze will be fine because Ødegaard's the one to go, isn't he?
Right.
I think if you do that, if you spend 130 million on Rogers, it has to be Ødegaard going. I mean, you could. I mean, in theory, you could keep Eze and Ødegaard and Eze Skrifts as the Trossard replacement. But
right.
I think if you're spending 130 million, it's a starter, and Ødegaard's a starter right now.
And bear in mind that Eze was 67, 68 million. You still, you can't have him as a sub inside, forward, left winger, whatever, for me. So, have you seen that message? This is like the thing that dreams are made of, right?
I can't read that. That's very small.
So it says here, Vinicius Junior is the most likely player we can get. He's on 350k a week. Forget Mbappe, he's on 750k a week. I think, here's my thought on this, right? Firstly,
because Lee can't see.
Firstly, I don't think Vinicius Junior leaving Real Madrid is completely unrealistic, given he's got 1 year left on his deal and given the relationship that I think is going to be a problem between him and Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho also likes to scapegoat a player at very early on every single
Yep.
club he goes to. That could well be Vinicius Junior, given all of that history. So I think him leaving should not be completely ruled out. Do I think it's the most likely player we can get? No, I don't, because I think, as we saw last year with Rodrigo, leaving Real Madrid is a very difficult thing to do. Players do find it difficult to leave Madrid. It may well be it's a little bit easier given what I've just said. Secondly, his base wages might be that, but then you've got his add-ons, his appearance fees, all his other bonuses. He will be Arsenal's highest paid player by a long shot. That will then lead to some discontent in the dressing room where other players will want paying more as well, which will raise the wage bill, which will then impact our ability to do other things. So I don't.
Which I'm fine with, by the way, because obviously you bring that kind of player in, you're winning things more often, which means that the turnover comes up more, and
as we saw last season,
you can pay more players, right? So that's how the sustainable model works.
Yes,
right?
I was going to say.
This is why, sorry, but this is why we were all screaming out when the previous boards and whatever have not invested any money, and we're like sat on our hands going, what the hell? You know, we're supposed to be a big club and we're acting like a minuscule club because you can't be bothered to invest anything.
Yeah, no, I agree. And what I was going to say is, no, you're fine. But what I was going to say is those things mean the reason I bring them up from that point of view is I think that makes it not the most likely player, because those considerations will have to be factored in when they're being done. And I do think Vinicius Junior, a bit like Haaland, I mean, people say he's on 350k a week. He's on significantly more than that, City. He will be on more than that as well. So I think that will have to be factored in as Arsenal piece together their entire transfer budget and their entire approach. But I think if you can get Vinicius Junior, you get Vinicius Junior for exactly the reasons that you've just spelled out. But I was just spelling out why I don't think it's the most likely signing that Arsenal make this summer. But it is the one that if you can make happen, you make happen.
Absolutely.
That's a huge statement if Arsenal do that.
You dropped a bombshell on it last week, mate. So why not?
But the other thing is
one of the best puns you did, Lee.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
We're probably one of the only countries that's competing with Spain. We have a better tax threshold, so we make a bit back that way. They actually punish tax a lot more in Spain, which is why the 400, 600,000, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're talking about wages, and yeah, Havertz, Jesus, and Ødegaard cost Arsenal over 700k. I mean, I think it's a bit disingenuous to put Ødegaard in there, to be honest, because I think he's offered most to Arsenal over that period. So I think value wise, I'd skip Ødegaard out of there. Havertz being one of our most expensive players, and Jesus, I think you kind of got to split the here and now and the previous kind of methodology from that, and you kind of got to go, well, that's what we did to get to springboard into another level. So I take the point that they're high wages. If they were signed now, they wouldn't be on such high wages because they wouldn't be bought to do the job that they were bought to do right then. They were the focal point then.
Yeah.
So
you have
rightly
to
or wrongly.
Sorry, I was going to say you have to overpay when you are trying to get to the top as well, because you have to make your offer more attractive and advertise that lots of similar players there. But also, if you're spending 700k on one player, we're getting on 3 players there. You then have to do something else with the squad. It's why there is an argument that Arsenal's squad is actually deeper than Real Madrid's squad. And it's partly because they have superstars on such big wages, which means they have to cut back elsewhere. The advantage for them is they play less games, so therefore you need them less. And the quality at the bottom end of the league is less, so you can play players of less quality in those games and still win the games through. And as I say, I bring up the wages specifically in terms of it has to be consideration, which is why I don't think it's the most likely signing. But I do think you, as I say, you definitely make it happen if you can on Vinicius Junior. 100%. If he says, I'd like to come to Arsenal, you do whatever you can to make it happen, because it is a statement signing. It takes Arsenal's attack to another level. Saka down one side, Vinicius Junior down the other side. Yes, you might lose a bit defensively with Vinicius Junior, but I think we've got enough to cope with that.
You don't care, do you?
No. And also, I don't think he will be as lazy as he is for Real Madrid going forward, in terms of staying forward, when you've got 10 other players on the pitch all doing that defensive work. You can cover for it if he is, but secondly, I think there is a little bit of falling in with what the others
You think how much freedom Saka gets if he come?
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden he hasn't got 2-3 players on him.
People were saying that he's rubbish for England the other night. He offered nothing, which I think is disingenuous, but it was also partly because Panama were concentrating him. It's why Rashford got so much space, because the Panama defence were worried about Saka.
Yeah, 2, 3, 4 players on him at varying times of that game.
Yeah.
Just want to bring it back a little bit to the point about Jesus, and in the same breath, Zinchenko, because we've got both of them players off City with quite high wages. Just try and remember where Arsenal were before we got them into the club, and raising the level, and eventually we get into the level where we are now, and we ended up eventually as Premier League champions.
Yeah, but we passed the level as well. So we brought them in to raise the level, and we surpassed that level. I mean, relatively quickly, to be honest with you. But they helped do that. So as much as, like you say, as much as you can throw shade at the wages, and you can do it with plenty of other clubs as well, and just say, well, we had to do that at the time. Spurs are finding that out now.
Right.
When you're in a position of power, you have to take advantage of it. When you're not in a position of power, then you've got to use money, really.
It's the only way they're going to get anywhere from where they were. But it just goes to show power and negotiation as well. And if it feels like they for me, on the deal with the West Ham player, they went in with so much money that West Ham would have been silly to turn it down. So I feel they went too big too early. But we'll see.
Do you think he's chosen Spurs because of the playing time, or just purely for the money?
He starts for both sides.
Money.
He starts for both sides, and he reportedly came out and said that his main he was 3 things: playing time, which one plays him the most, but also which one is the best deal for West Ham. And by the way, I admire the first 2 particularly, and I can't fault him for the second one either. And I think with Tottenham, he got all 3. He's starting. It was the best offer from West Ham, and they were offering him good wages. I also think that Tottenham are actually investing in doing some sensible things this summer, and with no European football, if they can keep their players fit, which I think has been their biggest problem for the last 2 years, I think they're back in the Europe conversation this year.
In the conversation, or finish in Europe?
I think they're finishing Europe. I think they're finishing Europe.
Which part of Europe?
Europa League.
I think that's awfully optimistic of you. We'll see.
Who's finishing there ahead of him, Lee?
Sorry?
Who's finishing there ahead of them?
I see the likes of even Nottingham Forest. If they invest money on Anderson, pretty good. I see them finishing ahead. Let's bear in mind, Spurs just finished 17th twice. There's a lot of work to do before they get anywhere close to a level. Yes, they've brought in a couple of players. They brought in an Andy Robinson, who last time I checked, he'd failed his MOT at Liverpool. And
they want him to stay, though. By the way, they did want him to stay.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we have a goal. We have a goal from France.
Yeah, I'm on a stream, so I haven't seen that yet. But
offside, apparently.
No, so we
the
don't.
Flag is up. Who scored, Stace? Mbappe, but he was offside.
Yeah, 2 of them offside.
In the words of Arsene Wenger, I clearly did not see it.
Did not see it.
because I have no
I
television.
don't know
on.
why I was going in that accent, to be honest, but there we go.
It wasn't even a good one.
No, it was a very bad one. It was very bad.
C'est
Very, very
terrible.
bad. Huh?
I said it's c'est terrible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that wasn't much
That's,
better.
that's even worse.
What he said.
I'm not sure that was any better either, but so. But the one thing I will add to that is that Man United went from 15th to 3rd.
Yeah.
So
I also think Tottenham missed Kudos for big parts of the season, Maddison for the whole season, Kulieski for the whole season. I think they're going to get rid of the toxicity of Romero this summer. I think Fernandez gives them the profile in midfield that they were lacking last season. I think Basuma is a pain in the arse in midfield. They got rid of him. I also think they got a good manager in De Zerbi. So I think Tottenham have done the sensible things this summer to move forward. And I can see people in October and November having a panic that they're going to win the league, like Villa and this year and Chelsea and that sort of thing. I can see all of that happening now. So I do think Tottenham, but if they keep with the injuries they've had for the last 2 seasons, then they're going to struggle again, because what they don't have is the quality behind it. But I think they've made the sensible investments this summer. Sensible investments.
They could go and get the Arsenal doctors that we've just sacked.
Yeah. Well, they have all the cast-offs anyway, don't they? They have Vinay and a couple of the boardroom members and such like and so forth. But yeah.
And Jamie O'Hara leading the cheerleading gang, formerly of Arsenal.
Oh, God. We're back. We're back all the time. Back from where? Back to where? I don't understand. I don't know.
Back to life. Back to reality.
Yeah. Singing's not as good as the acting.
How dare you? I'm West End trained, don't you know?
Off topic, do you think Ancelotti would be more suited for the Italy national team rather than Brazil? Klopp? What? Klopp would suit that Brazil team playing free-flowing football.
I think Ancelotti is such a tactically adept manager that he can adapt to any team. I think Ancelotti is an immense manager, but I do think that I think this is going to be his last job. I think he retires after this job, to be honest with you. And I certainly wouldn't be picking up the pieces of Italy if I was him.
Yeah, Italy is a long way short, unfortunately. Josh, True Gunnar won't like that, but unfortunately,
I think he'd know that's where they are as well.
Yeah, I agree. But I see. I heard the Klopp rumours coming in for the German side.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
And maybe that's not completely out of the question.
I think that's a shout, that one.
Yeah,
I think it's revitalized that one. But France manager, I completely forgot his name.
Deschamps.
Yeah, he's done after this World Cup as well, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Yeah.
So he's retiring. Yeah. As Don was saying, he thinks he's going to be the last job. Yeah. Right. But yeah, there we go. Have you got anything else on the transfer front, or are they
no, all good?
Raw rumors, right? Okay. So I'm going to address this because otherwise I'll get accused of not addressing it when somebody's posted it. So the first thing he's put is Arteta gets a pass for winning the Prem the new season. Don't be surprised if you finish 3rd or 4th. Yes, you can laugh, but let's be real. Other big clubs in the Prem were shit.
Wow. It's
well, firstly, what makes you think that those clubs are going to be better? Man United finishing 3rd, had 1 game a week. Now, as much as yes, they improved from 15th, they lost to Grimsby Town. They were out round 1, basically of the League Cup. Out round 3 of their FA Cup.
They played 40 games all seasons. They went out in the first available
Yeah.
round of both domestic trophies and didn't play a European game.
So essentially, you can add 10 games onto that instantly.
Yeah.
With Champions League on there, with other cup competitions that they're not going to be out of. So I think you can probably do worse than that. I think you're looking at 12 to 15 games more. So I think they'll still be in Champions League spots.
Certainly competing for them.
Or competing for them. But I don't think see them improving. Man City have lost Pep. They got players, but they've got a worse manager, a lesser manager. Let's go with a lesser manager.
As most are, to be fair to Pep, but
yeah, well, this is the point. You can't replace Pep with Pep, can you? He is the best manager in the world as we know it. So so you can't replace the guy who's left with the guy that's left, right? So they're inevitably going to get worse, which means that they're not going to improve, right? They might be the same, but they're not going to improve. So they're not going to go higher. All right, Liverpool have changed the manager. Is that an unknown quantity at a club that's got more pressure?
At that top level, we shall see. Lots to say for that.
The thing is, anybody can kind of go and play that way for Bournemouth, because with all due respect, they're not going for anything. Yes, they got a European spot, but they're not going for a title. It doesn't matter if they go for a title as such.
Yeah, the pressure is very different, isn't it? And
again, the expectation is going to be with Liverpool to at least finish Champions League and improve on that. Can he do that?
We saw it with Thomas Frank, didn't we, last year? We saw it with Graham Potter. We've seen it multiple times with multiple managers. You go from a side, and I think Areola's a really good manager, by the way. But the pressure is very different. And I actually think it's why Glasner made a sensible decision going to AC Milan, I think it was.
Yeah.
You know, yes, they're a big side in Italy, but the pressure...
They've got money as well, AC Milan, by the way.
Yeah. But the pressure will be significantly up, but I think it's a good stepping stone rather than going straight to Liverpool. And I think Liverpool, Areola's a better fit stylistically anyway for them. But, you know...
I think there's an outside chance of... if Ødegaard leaves, he goes there.
Yes. But right now in this market, can they afford 80 million on him?
Right.
They've just got big investment. So
they have, but they've got quite a bit to do.
For PSR and such like. Yeah. But
if you go back to the original question, though, it was about Arteta and, or be realistic. Can, he gets a pass for the title. This is...
Shall I show you the other bit before you carry on?
If I just finish, just give me 3 seconds. AFC always
there's a second part to it.
Go on.
So you're probably answering this already. That's all. The only reason I stop you. So so he's basically put if Arteta doesn't win the Prem again or win any domestic cup or reach the UCL final this season, he should get sacked. So.
That's the sort of fan AFC always
to interrupt,
is.
But I thought you were answering it already.
That's the sort of fan AFC always is. No disrespect to AFC always, because he's regular been in my chat as well. But it's another one of them that Arteta can't do right for doing wrong. He wins a title. He wins Arsenal the Premier League title, yet he won't accept it because it's not the person that he wanted. There are a few of them around, so. I'm sorry, statements like that are absolutely ridiculous.
I don't think Arteta gets a pass because he won the Premier League title, but we should respect the Premier League title win. For me, many really good managers have said how hard winning the first title is. And we did it, and we did it against Pep Guardiola's Manchester City side, who have invested more money than us in Arteta's time here and started from a higher base. As have Chelsea. Liverpool is similar. investment. It's very close between the two. I can't quite remember which way around we are, but but these sides were starting from a higher base. We got there, but not only did we get there, and I know we didn't get them, but we got to 2 cup finals and a cup quarter final. We went deep in all competitions.
Yeah,
I think he is worthy of respect, and I don't actually think the league was necessarily poor this season in terms of. I actually think it was higher this season in terms of the quality and competitiveness. I don't think it was exciting, but the league was very, very different. And to the last sort of comment around we should go back to 22-23 football, I don't think the league lets you do that. I think on occasions when we did have sides that decided to open up and play against us, try and play out, try and play a high line, we did score goals past them. Tottenham attempted to play football against us. We saw it in the Champions League, say Inter Milan, for instance. Atletico tried it for a 20 minutes period and got absolutely battered. Now, I know that everything we touched in that game went in. We can do that when teams do it, but you have to play the opposition. If there's space in there, you can't play that football. That doesn't mean he gets a pass next season, by the way. If you have a season like Slot's just had at Liverpool, then I think you have to revisit that. There was a yelp from the background, which just something happened in the France game. But, if you are back, if you do have a season like that, then it is a conversation about whether he continues or not. But for me, I'm looking at the positive and going, what can he go and win? But this will be an odd season, particularly at the start, because everyone's going to be out to beat us because we're the champions. But also, you've got the World Cup factor affecting teams differently. And we won't know how that's going to factor in until we see how the World Cup ends. But, I think I have heard people say, and AFC always hasn't made this point specifically, by the way, so this isn't necessarily aimed at you, AFC always, but I've heard that if he doesn't win the Premier League next season, he gets sacked. Arsenal haven't won back-to-back top division titles since the 1930s.
Yeah,
we've never done.
So by that token, right, that you just made that point, right? So if we win the first back-to-back, right, and this is a question for always, because you're basically saying everybody in the league is shit, right? So that suggests that you think that everybody is going to get better next season, right? So that's the premise that you put on there. So if Arteta wins the league back-to-back, goes to the Champions League final back-to-back, and wins a domestic cup, he gets a statue outside, right? Because you can't just throw everything off and go, he gets sacked off this, and you can't go, I support Arsenal FC. It's not Arteta FC. Nobody said
God,
it's Arteta
I'm so
FC.
sick of that.
It's absolute nonsense. It's codswallop, man. And this one, Arsenal Football Club is the star, no manager or player bigger than the football club. He just won you the first title in 22 years against everybody that even slags everybody off says against the best manager in the world. Right?
How ungrateful are you?
It didn't take anything. It didn't take signing Mbappe. It didn't take signing Vinny Jr. It didn't take signing all these world-class players, because apparently we don't have any world-class players. But Liverpool have all these world-class players, and they did nothing to defend their title. So if Arteta and the players and the coaching staff, because obviously there'll be new coaching staff, there'll be new medical staff, if they get over the line and win the first back-to-back since 1934, then he deserves a statue, yeah? Look, you did George Graham get you to the Champions League final?
Nope.
Did he take you back to back? What I'm saying is a scenario, right? You're basically writing him off now that he's going to get sacked if he can't win us something. So if he does, by your logic, right, you're basically saying he's won the league because everybody else was shit. So everybody else gets better. He still wins the league. Are you going to come and do this again? because at some point you've got to give up the ghost, because obviously at some point you'll be right? At some point he won't win something, but that doesn't make you right. You've probably been going on saying he'll never win the Premier League, right? I mean, I don't know. You're not been in my chat, but you've been in Lee's chat, so he can probably tell me better. But you must have been in chat, basically going, "I don't trust Arteta. He can't get us over the line. He'll never do this. He's a bottler. We need somebody proven. We need this, that, and the other, right? Because he's not the star, right?"
Quick, get Jose Mourinho in.
As he said
That's
that
an
as well.
in-joke.
No, he
Dog.
always hasn't. To be fair, but he had. You know, I think this is fair that AFC was you've not backed Arteta and didn't think he could win. I think he has proved that wrong. Yes, it's taken 5 years, but equally, this club was broken. It was broken. We had no desire to win. You know, we are.
You haven't answered the question, though. You haven't answered the question. Answer the question.
But you're right. He hasn't answered the question. But this club now believes it can win trophies. This club now has a desire to win trophies, and he has instilled that back in. When he first took over, this was a club that was about the paycheck for the players. They were phoning it in by and large. You know, it's why we've got rid of so many players. It's why we've replaced.
Hey, Bamiang, how you doing?
Yeah. The whole culture of the club has changed on and off the field, and Arteta has played a significant role. He's not the only one that's made that happen, by the way. The players deserve some respect, and others, but you know, he's got us over the line.
Right. Wait. Hang on. You can't ask a question on a hypothetical that didn't happen, right? We're talking about a new hypothetical that you suggested, right? So I've spun that in a different way, because you've already, if you didn't trust Arteta to get over the line, he's already proven you wrong, right? Whether you can accept that or not, that's not his problem. That's your problem, right? I'm just giving you a scenario to say, yeah, okay, you can not believe in him again, but at what point does that make you look a bit silly? Because you're just hypothesizing about things that he's already proven you wrong about, and you're still coming with another moving goalposts. We can all move the goalposts. We can all go, yeah, it was a failure to not win the Champions League, right? But if he does a back-to-back, and I'm not saying for any, for the sake of argument, I'm not saying that you're wrong, right? I'm not saying that he is going to go back-to-back, but it is favourite right now. The bookies have got it at favourites. Most Arsenal fans will tell you that they believe that they will go back-to-back. So if he goes back-to-back, do you then go, I was wrong, he is actually an elite manager, he is better than we've ever had, he's turned a sinking ship round? Do you then believe in it a bit more? Or do you find another reason to twist it again to go, well, next year, in your words, if Arteta doesn't win the Premier, do we recycle the same question? Because at some point, you are going to be right. But if he does a three-peat, and the fourth one, you're right, at what point does it make you silly?
Mm.
And what about the next year? And the year after? And the year after that?
Here's the thing, Sparks. I've had this argument on my channel, and it makes me laugh. It makes me laugh. I've tolerated it, and it makes me laugh.
I mean, the thing is, Lee, that we all knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, right.
We could all see it, right? Because people can't accept being wrong, right?
Yep.
And you tell me that you support the football club no matter what, right? Because it's not manager, right? And I don't know if you that there's a certain channel, and I'm not actually going to say the channel because I don't want to promote it. But I mean, to promote it to 22 people, but whatever. But you know, I just don't want to promote it, and because it's this kind of nonsensical. He just won you the first title in 22 years. Now, does that mean that we want him for the manager forever? No, it does not. It means that we want to continue from here, and we need to be winning the major trophies on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
Right? But does that mean that if he gets pipped to the post by 1 point next season, that you want him out? No.
That's utter madness is what that is.
It doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense. I mean, the fact that we're even talking about it before a ball's been kicked.
Literally the point I was about to make.
Crazy to me. And it's like, what is it, RD?
Yeah.
The channel that you guys go on. And I saw him ask, I heard him ask the same question to Josh and all that, and I was just like, come on, man, you know, can we just change the record?
I also don't think that any of us have ever said the quadruple's wrong. In fact, we said the complete opposite. And I think
sorry. Can I, before you do that, right? It's my channel. It's my channel, mate. So you know, you've annoyed me. So I'm retorting to you, and you haven't answered the question yet. So, you know, I just wanted to answer the question, and all you do is move the goalposts. So that's why I'm retorting. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, I don't think anyone, you know, you're entitled to your opinion. It is absolutely fine to have, but I just think at this point, we should be, you know, enjoying the season. I think I don't think it's as binary as we win nothing, we win something. I think you have to look at where it is relative to how the season goes. Are the players still backing in? What has happened during the season? You know, and all of these things are, but they're conversations for much later in the season. From my point of view, I just want to enjoy the fact we're champions and not worry about it. And I think, you know, does it buy Arteta grace forever? No. But I think it does buy him some grace because he is a Premier League winning manager, you know, and there's so many unknowns in the season
as well, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I you know, it's fine to not like Arteta. That's absolutely fine. You can say you don't want him. You can say you want other managers. That's perfectly reasonable. I can understand that. But from my point of view, I think I don't agree that he won it in a poor league. I don't agree he won it because other teams were rubbish. I think he won it because he managed to get a group of players over the line that were good enough to win it, and that he managed to rally back from some very difficult positions on multiple times during the season. And I think he now is in a position where he could go on and win multiple trophies. That doesn't mean he will, but he gets some grace there for sure. And let's not forget that they are not the only club capable of winning trophies. There are 4 trophies to be won. You know, in Europe, you've got Arsenal, Manchester City, you've got Real Madrid, Barcelona, Paris Saint-Germain, who are probably favourites to go the three-peat on the Champions League. You've got Bayern Munich. The Italian sides are capable of runs. Liverpool could be capable of a run. You know, it's a cup competition. Premier League, you know, Chelsea, I don't think are going to win the Premier League, but they've got no Europe this season. You know, they could have, you know, they've had less players involved at the World Cup. You know, they could, with less games, that could help them. Manchester City will feel they can win it. Liverpool will feel that they're not as bad as last season. And then the same applies in the cups, where you can bring in even more teams. There are 4 trophies and multiple teams capable of winning it. If you have a season like Slot this season, where clearly the players down tool, the fans lost all confidence, there was no tactical identity about that side, and they collapsed. I mean, I said to them, I said pre-season, I didn't like their summer window. I didn't expect it to be as bad as that. But then you can start talking about whether the manager stays or not. But it's not a binary yes or no here just because he wins nothing. It's how close are we? What's happened? All the context. But right now, Arsenal are favourites. We still need to get behind the manager and the team, right? That for me is what supporting the club is about.
Yeah,
and can you see the progress?
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And for people that he actually said that Odegaard Slowdegaard or whatever. So he's done it with substandard players as well. In your own words, he's done it with substandard players, and he's beat Pep to a title. So doesn't it give him a little bit of credit? Surely
the league table doesn't lie, does it? At the end of the day,
no.
And everyone plays the same amount of games. Give the guy a bit of credit because he earned it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying it was a poor league, but you did say it was a poor league.
What you said.
You literally said it was a poor league. You said it was we only won it because everybody else was shit. So you said it was a poor league. You just didn't say it in so many words. But let's be real. Nobody thought Liverpool would finish where they were after winning the Prem. But that's on Liverpool, not on Arteta. That's on Slot. It's nothing to do with Arteta. Can't control that. He can only control what he can control. So I just don't understand why that's Arteta's fault. And I'll be completely honest with you. When Arteta come in, I didn't want Arteta. I didn't want Arteta to come in as a manager. But as soon as Arteta comes in, I got behind him. Now,
absolutely all on board. Support the guy.
Will I support him forever? If he pisses me off, no. But he's got to give me a reason to not support him. Do you know what I mean? He can't just say now, oh, he's won me the league, so I'll not support him now.
Yeah, I think that applies to any manager, right? I mean, I've been asked this question multiple times about why did I want Emery out but not Arteta out? I think really simply, I wanted Emery out because it wasn't working. There was no tactical identity. He'd lost the players, he'd lost the fans, and he'd basically lost confidence in himself. The reason I thought differently about Arteta was I saw the plan. I could see the players, most of the players were buying into one that clearly didn't want to be there, and he wanted them gone, and they needed to go to change the culture of the club. And I could see the progress year on year. The one season I don't think we made progress at all was the Willian season. Otherwise, we made progress in
2021.
Yes, that would be right. Otherwise, I think we've made progress. 21, 22, I think that would be. Otherwise, I think we made progress every single season, including 2 years ago, where, yes, okay, we still finished second in the league, but yes, obviously points were way down, and we didn't put up any kind of title challenge, but we still made Champions League semi-final. But equally, and Pep Guardiola said it during this current season just gone, when you have as many injuries as that, it is so difficult to stay competitive in the league. They were his words about the previous season of Manchester City. And that applies to Arteta as much as that. And that's not taking anything away from Liverpool, by the way. They were fantastic in the first half of that season. And yes, they limped over the line, but they were worthy champions. But
I think that actually cost them. I think holidaying, before the season ended, particularly for the likes of Salah, because he wanted that record. He didn't really. He got the title, and he wanted the records, and he got let down. So I think for the first part of the season, I think he down tools. I really do think that, and it's with top athletes, it's a mentality thing.
Yeah,
and as soon as you get out of the zone that you don't want to win, or you get into the zone where you don't want to win, they give up the ghost. They're like, well, there's no point in being here then, is there? If you don't want to win.
I don't think we want to spend too much time on Salah and Slot, but the relationship between the two of them had clearly broken way before the start of last season. So and it wasn't necessarily a surprise to me that their season derailed like it did.
But there we go.
So the host ain't listening. I just literally just explained to you why it wasn't Arteta's fault that didn't work. I literally explained it to you. You just don't want to hear it, obviously. But You do you, mate. You do you. You support your way. It's not what I call support, to be honest with you. But you know, I've heard a lot of people like it. It's not my bag. I get if you've got something to complain about, I get complaining. I don't get complaining for the sake of complaining because I think that's what you're doing. And you said, in my opinion, everybody's got their opinion. That's my opinion of your opinion. That's it. Yeah, that's top and bottom of it. So, you're welcome to have that opinion and that approach. I don't have to agree with it. So yeah.
But there we go.
But anyway, what can one do, right? One person's view.
Yeah, and it's what makes football.
So
football
I don't support the club now. I have a season ticket, mate. I go to the games, so and you may do as well. You support.
I don't think AFC always has been to a game for a long time.
Yeah,
I think I've been to a game sooner than him.
But how old am I?
It's got none of your business.
I'm 49, mate. If you're really that bothered.
Oh,
yeah, welcome to the old Codgers podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm the younger.
I need to rebrand.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not
but
sure.
One of us will score from the halfway line this season, so work out which one that was.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
All right, Shaggy.
That put my back out. That would. But yeah. I'm not sure how old you are. It relates to how you support a football club. To be honest, you can be blooming 20, you could be 70. It doesn't really make any difference, does it?
I'm getting there.
What, 70 or
getting
20?
Close.
I've seen Lee walk. He is nearly 70.
Thanks, mate. I was on crutches weeks ago. Shush.
Were you?
He was, yeah.
Quite literally, I was.
It's why I was taking the piss because he literally couldn't walk.
I can laugh about it, Dom. I've been playing tennis and football this last 24 hours.
Well done.
I know. Been doing weightlifting as well. You'd heard about this. Been doing new weightlifting training.
Oh, yeah.
He's been practicing with tins.
That's it.
Oh, dear.
Drink sensibly, children.
Yes.
One in each hand.
Yes. Observe alcohol limits and drink plenty of water.
Keep hydrated, everyone.
Yeah. When the fun stops, stop. That goes with alcohol as well as gambling. So yeah. Lee, I drove 19 hours to the Champions League final. Did you? I'm sure he didn't. I did go to the final. You might have seen me on TV.
I did see you on TV.
Yeah. Doesn't make you any...
I don't have to answer that, to be fair, do I?
No.
I mean, see that comment? Ta-da! Goodbye.
Yeah, it doesn't make what? How can you just put that and then say, why do you get personal? You just got personal.
You get
with
personal
him.
with everybody else that you don't like. Ah.
You got personal, so you can't have a go at anybody else for getting personal when you got personal. But there we go. I'm kind of done retorting to you now. So there we go. I think we've given you enough time of the show. Thanks for your inputs. Yeah, don't really know what to say to you anymore. I kind of still haven't answered the question, by the way. But there we go.
No change there then.
No change there then. But yeah, unless you've got anything else, I'm going to wrap this up.
No. It's been a pleasure being on with you, gentlemen, as always. I would say I'm looking forward to the England game, but I'm watching it from a train on my phone tomorrow. So, you know, that'll be fun.
British Rail, sort out his Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
If I don't have Wi-Fi, I will cry because I'm only going to get the second half.
You're lucky.
It'll be cry-fi.
You'd be lucky if the train turns up, to be fair. But
yeah, I know. But that's why I didn't go to the office last week. It's why I need to go tomorrow.
Right,
And
gentlemen.
Final thoughts from me. Thank you very much, Sparks, for letting me on the stream. Always a pleasure talking to you, gentlemen. Everyone who's watching on all the platforms, make sure you're hitting the like on all of them. We all support each other. That's what YouTube's there for. It's about supporting genuine fans who have a good time about doing their YouTube. So that's what we're all about. So cheers for having us on.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime. And yeah, what he said. I ain't repeating the same thing because it get me very boring. But yeah, all the channels are there, so follow them all. Drop any comments in the comment section below, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the World Cup. See ya.